The Shasta County Elections Office calls it a major step towards election transparency, literally tearing down a wall in the office. We'll have a live report. No hospital in Paradise for nearly 7 years now. What does the future hold for emergency care on the Ridge? And Glenn Medical Center shuts down its ER sooner than planned. We'll bring you the latest.
Covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now. Coverage you can count on.
New at 6, Glenn Medical Center says it's closing the emergency room and all hospital services next week. That's 3 weeks sooner than originally planned. The hospital posted to social media today that the closure will come by 7 p.m. Tuesday, September 30th because of staffing shortages. But it says the Glenn Medical Center's clinics will remain open and can accommodate same-day appointments for acute care visits. The hospital in Willows served the county for 75 years, but is being forced to close after losing its critical access designation because of its proximity to Colusa Hospital. The Shasta County Elections Office has a brand new layout that brings election observers closer to ballot counters. Action News Now reporter Jesse Angelo is live in Reading with more on the layout and how it aims to, they say, increase election transparency.
That's right, Alan. Shasta County Clerk and Registrar of Voters Clint Curtis tells me he's made the big changes all in the name of election security. I was able to meet up with Mr. Curtis this afternoon, who gave me a tour of the new layout, which included the removal of fencing in the office that separated the public from the actual vote count. Now, all observers will have unobstructed views of the count on election night, and Curtis tells me this will improve security.
It's going to be an election that the observers can see, that the public can see, and the public is welcome. We want you to come in, and we actually want you to sign up to help us run the election as well. You can be right on point all the time.
And Curtis tells me he's looking forward to seeing all of these changes in action at the special election coming up in November. Live in Reading, Jesse Angelo, Action News Now.
Very interesting. Thank you, Jesse. And along with this new design, the Elections Department is still looking for help. They're hiring poll workers, extra help staff, and volunteers to get ready for November's special election. We have new details now about the former Chico police sergeant, now former Chico police sergeant, fired just last week after an internal investigation into what the department called serious misconduct. Now, the update is that the California Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training says Michael Williams has voluntarily surrendered his certificate, which means he can no longer serve as a peace officer in the state of California, and also ends any sort of investigation by that group. We're still working to learn, though, more about the allegations against William, which the police department is not releasing, but we will update you as soon as we learn more. Now, a live look at the Deer Creek Highway camera, also known as Highway 32. Is that Deer Creek, or is that that's in Tehama County there? But by the way, it's kind of looking the same out there. And Chief Meteorologist Howie Gordon is joining us now from Canyon Oaks Country Club in Chico, where the Butte County Search and Rescue had their big fundraiser golf tournament and ball drop today. How's it looking now, Howie?
Fun day today, Alan. You saw my golf swing. I guess when we get back and we can chat, you can tell me how to improve it a little bit. I know it needs a little bit of work, but the weather wasn't a problem for me, even though it was hot out here. Had a nice breeze. Felt very good. Let's take a look at our conditions, what's going on. Again, first day of summer, but a very hot one. Still sitting now after the 6 o'clock hour. Look at Red Bluff at 95. Corning sitting at 98 degrees. You get up to Chester a little better at 81, and Paradise sitting at 88 degrees. Winds today, a little gusty here and there, and that actually felt very nice. Let me see here on my slides. Doesn't want to move forward. There we go. So a little breezy in Chico, 17 mile per hour winds. Not too bad, but I'll be honest, that felt very nice. I still feel that breeze right now at the moment, but very hot. And generally, when it heats up, you see less moisture in the atmosphere, and that's exactly it. So very much on the dry side. So for fire weather, we want to be careful today. A little breezy, dry, and hot. Now, We're going to remain hot for a couple more days, but eventually we do cool down. We'll talk all about that coming up in a few minutes, Alan.
All right, thanks, Hallie. And coming up in our next half hour, we'll check in with Margot Rowe to get more details on the ball drop. Well, the man arrested for shooting into the ABC television station, ABC 10 in Sacramento, appeared in court today and faces several charges. Anibal Hernandez Santana was arrested Friday night and posted bail Saturday, but was arrested again by the FBI on federal charges. The FBI arrested the retired lobbyist on allegations that he violated a federal statute barring interference with federally licensed stations. The court complaint says that a search of his vehicle turned up a handwritten note that read, quote, "For hiding Epstein and ignoring red flags, do not support Patel, Bongino, and AG Pam Bondi. They're next, CK from above." New tonight, a Red Bluff man will spend the next 24 years in prison for creating several videos of children engaged in sexually explicit conduct and possessing thousands of videos showing the sexual abuse on video. Now, Ricardo Gutierrez recorded himself and 4 prepubescent children, including 1 toddler, and shared them on Facebook Messenger. Law enforcement was alerted about him by a woman that Gutierrez met on a dating app, Tinder, after he sent her a video showing an adult man engaging in explicit conduct with a girl between the age of 5 and 8, and asked her if she had access to young girls. Officials say between 2023 and 24, he sent several videos through multi-social media apps and possessed more than 4,800 files showing the sexual abuse of children on his phone. A vehicle plunged hundreds of feet off Highway 70 this morning, leading to a rescue in the Feather River Canyon. The CHP and CAL FIRE were called out just before 5:30 a.m. to a crash just east of Jarbo Gap. The vehicle had traveled over the edge and then 300 feet down a steep hillside. Firefighters say that they were able to walk the patient out and that he came away with just minor injuries. Sutter County Sheriff's deputies arrested a man suspected of impersonating a peace officer. They say 42-year-old Jamie Ramirez of Marysville pulled someone over on Saturday on Highway 20 in Meridian. And deputies caught up with him a short time later and confiscated, they say, a loaded 30-round AR-15 magazine, an unregistered AR-15 rifle, and an LED light pod that flashes red and blue lights like a police officer. Ramirez, who's on parole with an active arrest warrant, was booked on felony charges. Well, nearly 7 years after the Camp Fire, the town of Paradise still has no hospital. With the Feather River Hospital badly damaged and closed, Adventist Health announced 2 years ago it had no plans to ever reopen the facility. Action News Now reporter Bea Barbosa shows us how not having a hospital in the town is having a big impact on people there.
When asked how they felt about the town not having a hospital, Paradise residents I spoke with shared their frustrations.
I'm disappointed if Adventist Health doesn't open it. They're more caring than other hospitals that I've been to, and they care. They care a lot, they did, but it doesn't make sense to me why they wouldn't bring back the hospital.
Back in 2023, Adventist Health announced that it would not reopen the Feather River Hospital, stating at the time that the population post-Camp Fire could not support it. But it's been nearly 7 years, and the population in the town of Paradise has grown to about 11,000 people, a 139% increase since January of 2019, though not at half of what the population size was a year before the fire. Still, this increase in population size has some in the town saying they feel it's time to bring back the health care they once had access to.
They said there wasn't enough people here. There's plenty of people here sick. They need a hospital here. They really do. Immediate care is very important to us. So I'd like to see it come back.
A vicious cycle. That's how some I spoke with defined the issue, saying that the lack of health care available here impacts the number of people wanting to live here, which impacts the healthcare providers' willingness to open and maintain a hospital here.
It's just so important to have all those services close by. I think if you have those services close by, you might get more people moving back to Paradise.
And while Adventist Health does run a clinic here in Paradise, it does not offer emergency services or other services that the town once had available to them, meaning those on the ridge must drive about 20 minutes to Chico if they need to go to the hospital. How is the town of Paradise's leadership working to address this issue? Mayor Steve Crowder tells me the town is conducting a study that he hopes will convince healthcare providers to expand services on the Ridge.
It's going to give a whole round, robin of that, and hopefully it'll get us the services that we need. And my personal opinion is, I don't care what the sign in front of the hospital says, whether it be Adventist Health or Sutter or whoever. We just need more here.
In Paradise, Bea Barbosa, Action News Now.
The study being done by the town of Paradise began in June and is expected to wrap up in about a month from now. This week on Straight from the Source podcast, Haley Watts asked Butte County's health officer, Dr. Jarrett Bowden, about the local impacts of the MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again. Here's what he had to say.
You hear about mercury being in them.
Yeah.
You see parents feeling like, well, should I be doing this for my kid? What are we seeing, especially with the movement, like with the changes with the CDC now? What are we seeing locally?
It's a great question. Vaccines, regardless of whether you want to call them a vaccine, they are a medicine, and they should be studied. I mean, that's true. I think we can all agree on that. And part of those studies that we do is seeing if there is any issues with safety.
Yeah.
So for the COVID vaccine, for example, which is all the rage right now, they have done studies upon studies where they look at hundreds of thousands of people who got this vaccine.
Yeah.
And the risks are very, very low.
Do you have concerns about overprescription with that sort of thing, overdiagnosis?
Yeah, I don't know the data about like where kind of prescriptions are, especially for Butte County. It's not something kind of we track regularly. Right. But certainly, like, there are a lot of tools in the toolbox for mental health, and any good psychiatrist will tell you that medication should happen after you try the other stuff.
Are the superbugs, is that something you're concerned about? Do we overuse antibiotics?
Haley, I am so glad you asked that, because it really is a big issue. There are multiple antibiotic-resistant bugs, bacteria that are they've kind of all been in Southern California, and they're moving northward.
You can find the full conversation on our Action News Now homepage, YouTube channel, or any podcast platform. Here's a live look at the Butte County Search and Rescue's annual fundraising golf tournament and ball drop at Canyon Oaks in Chico. More next.